Hi, so today I want to talk with you guys about just some basics of Evernote. So thanks so much for joining the webinar today. And we have a whole bunch more videos broken down on Evernote for you on the RETI site. But I just wanted to kind of do a quick overview. I was the spiral notebook girl queen of them in real estate. So I started trying to, when I went paperless, I would just write notes in my phone and using the regular notes. Then I found out about Evernote. And so when I first started using Evernote, and you can go to evernote.com, you can do it online, or you can download the app. It's a cloud-based, so whatever you do on one device should sync to the other devices. When you start with Evernote and you download it, just do the basic one. There's a premium version too now. And again, up to you what you want to use. But I use a premium version, but I didn't start with that, obviously. And if you're brand new to using Evernote, I would just keep with the basic one until you kind of start using it more and more, and then you can do that. So here is what Evernote app looks like on the Mac. And so I'm going to show it to you here. And then again, on the RETI site, we have it broken down to what it looks like on the different devices. Because unfortunately it does look different, but the basics is still there. So for number one, create your account to start with. Then let's just do something basic of creating a note. So when you start on Evernote, you're going to have a notebook already created for you based on your sign-in name. So this one was mine. It's Amy and Smythe-Harris notebook. And so notebook was there, and so that was the only notebook I had. So I just started making notes. So, and then I'll show you different things. But just to make a note in the default notebook that you have set up, you'll see up here where it says new note. Okay, and it's untitled right now. So I liken the title to like a subject line of an email. So let's say, let's call this follow-up things to do. And so now the cool thing about Evernote on the Mac, so you'll see here it says drag files or just start typing. So I can start typing, call photographer for new listing. Okay. Well, I'm going to have a whole laundry list of things. So maybe I want to do it up here. I could do bullet points. I could do numbers, or I could do check boxes. So I'm a kind of a checkbox girl. So if this is a follow-up list to things to do, I'm going to say call photographer. And let's actually do laundry. Call, email the assistant about 123 Oak Street file, whatever it may be. Okay, so then over here, if I don't have, let's say, the number for the photographer, but I had a flyer for that photographer, by dragging and dropping, so I'm going to go find a file, and let's just say, here's the file I want, and so I want this file here, and I'm going to minimize, and I'm going to take it down, and I'm going to drag it, and then I'm going to down to Evernote. So I like keeping them open in the background screens. But right now, obviously, it's being a little persnickety on me today. So I can drag and drop here. But what I personally normally don't do drag and dropping because it's problematic for me is I come up here to this little paper clip. So let's just say I'm going to do this one, double click on this one. And now that PDF is in here. Okay. And then I can mark it up. So over here, this is a new feature that's come in. So when you do attach a PDF, you can add highlights and arrows to provide fast feedback. So if I'm going to annotate, or I'm just going to annotate this one. So I can make a note in it, a highlight. So you notice it opened in another screen, which is really cool. And so we'll do with this one, highlighter, and I'm going to highlight this part. Again, not pretty, but you know, you get the point, okay? This was a former version that Evernote had called Sketch, and you can do this in Sketch, but now it's beautiful. And then pull it into Evernote, but now it's all together. So once I'm done with annotating, you'll see I'm going to close, and now it's going to be annotated in there, and you can see that it's saved. Okay, so and you can then, you know, pull that out after you annotate it and take it into maybe your Dropbox or your Google Drive, and it'll be annotated in there as well. So again, I'm going to cancel this. You don't need to see that. So you can upload a PDF. You can annotate in it. So that's a basic. And up here, let's say I was writing a to-do list for somebody. Then I would type get call utilities by July 28th or whatever it may be, and set up mailbox change of address, and then maybe bring a photo ID to closing. And maybe I want this to be stand out, so in my note. So over here you'll see the fonts. I can change font size, I can change the font, I can go bold, I can underline it, I can change the font color, so maybe I want it to be orange, and so that way it stands out in my note. So those are kind of some of the basics ones here. Also over here, to me this is a tool I use a lot, is the microphone. So here is the microphone, and then, hey Amy, have somebody check out the AC unit on such and such place. And then I'll come here, hit stop, and then now this recording is in here, and you'll see it's saved in here. So I don't want to keep doing that, so so now not only do I have a note, I have a PDF attachment in one place, plus I have a sound recording as well. So I use the microphone a lot just to kind of remember. Sometimes I don't want to write something down. Maybe I just want to have an audio file of it. And then here also you can do pictures, take a snapshot. So this is me in my hotel room. And I'm going to use this. Yay. Okay. And then I can, again over here, I can annotate photos. So I'm going to annotate this note, and I'm going to annotate the image. And this is what's cool. You can do this. You can add text to photos and then take it out. Maybe you want to do a coming soon. So over here, I'm going to do a text box, and Amy being silly. Okay, so just kind of so you know some of the things you can do in here. And then what I have to do on this is just close it out. And now you'll see it's all part of one note. So obviously you're not going to use everything in the notes. You're not going to use all of these things I've just shown you. Obviously you'll do them for certain reasons, but I just want you to know. Here's another thing, and I will be really honest, that I'm horrible about. So I want to add tags on this. So maybe it was a location. It was 123 Oak Street. Maybe it was Amy Smythe-Harris. Maybe Amy Silly. Okay. So by having these tags in here, it makes it also easier for me to search for a note in a file. So the tags have been added, and you can see, so it's in Amy Smythe-Harris notebook, and here's the tags, the date it was created and date updated, which is great because if I come back and edit this later and add more things to it, you can see it. Then what's the beauty of this? Let's say I did all this to-do list and I need to give it to a client. Over here, you'll see where it says share. Okay. And so I can email them this note. So they'll hear the audio recording, and they don't have to have Evernote to have this. So I'm just going to put in my one of my fake emails, and I can either choose edit or write or just view and then share the note with them. Okay, so really cool things on that. Let me show you another tool I use quite a bit. It's called the reminder tool, which is right here with the clock. So let's say I did this follow-up things to do and I don't know I'm not going to do it today. So I need to have it set for tomorrow to remind me. So I'm going to hit add a date and I want it to tomorrow, let's say at 8 a.m. I can do in a week, any of those, and it's going to then notify me and pop up on my device, whatever I have open, whether it's a Mac or my iPhone or my iPad or any tablet. It'll pop up if you have the Evernote app, obviously on your phone. It'll pop up as a reminder, and then I just tap on it, and then this note's right there in front of me. So really cool tool for you. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. It's kind of a basic thing that you saw. So in one of my working with sellers, I go very much deeper involved in how to use Evernote specifically with a seller, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how. So I created a note in my default notebook, okay? But here it says find a notebook. So I want to show you a note that I had. So we'll do, let me see if I can remember the name of that property. And it may be in the seller stack. So let me just kind of go over there and see. And I haven't gotten them all organized yet because I had a really good example that I wanted to show you of how I use something. Holly Hall, there it is. Okay, so on this one, I got an email as a referral, and she did not want to put her, she didn't want me to contact her until she was ready. So she contacted me and she says, don't bother me for another 2 weeks to put the house in the market, kind of thing, whatever. So here, what I did is you'll see, I forwarded the email to my Evernote because my problem is I get leads, but then when I have to follow up with them, I don't want to have to go track down mass emails chains that have been going through. So I just emailed this whole chain to myself in Evernote and set a reminder of obviously July 28th, 2014. So 2 years ago. And she emailed, so that day it pops up on my screen. I can see the whole email chain. I don't have to go searching for it. And it also reminds me just get it done. So that's an idea for you guys. And again, I go further detailed in that in the RETI webinars, the working with the sellers. So I'm going to go back to all notes, and you can see all the different notes that maybe I've had. So over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to click back on notebooks, and you can see the different notebooks that are out there. When I started, I just created a notebook. So I would create, as you'll see, sellers listings, and they're by address. Buyers are by, obviously, buyers' names. And so I just started simple. So first listing I got after starting using Evernote, I created a notebook. And so to create a new notebook, right here it'll say new notebook. So I'm going to have a new listing coming on, and it's on Firefox, and I don't remember the street number, so I'm just going to do Firefox, and I can go add it later. So let's say I remember later what the Firefox address is. I can come over here. So what I just did is right clicked on it, and maybe I made this one an error and I shouldn't have. I can hit delete notebook. I can rename the notebook. So we're going to go ahead and add on here we're going to call it 3457, and now Firefox has now been renamed, and so I have it there. So if I want to put a new note in Firefox, I just double click on it, and up here again it's new note. Okay, and then I would title the note just like we talked about. So it's kind of a really cool way, just some basic ways to have notes handy. So combo codes maybe you have, or gate codes, or a list of things for them to do, and you can use it just as simple as the packing list for you. So I use this in my business life as well as my personal life. So on a notebook, so I share notebooks if I have a client that is using Evernote. Realistically, I don't have a lot of them shared because they're just not using Evernote as consumers. So I will show you, here's one that I have shared, the Bahamas 2017. No, that's actually for next year. I haven't even done that one yet. So can't find it really quickly, the one I was looking for. So I'm going to come up here to find a notebook. And you'll see, like that one, I had 29 notes in it. Okay. So before we left our last diving trip in 2015, I made a note of things that I needed to purchase for the next dive trip. So that way I didn't have to think about it. All the emails back and forth for our confirmations were all in here. The packing list, how to play this game because we were going to take a card deck with us and we weren't sure of the Wi-Fi things. Amy packing stuff for the, backpacks. I had, all of this overnight bag for Florida, like all of these things that we had. And then we had the checklist. So this notebook was shared with my husband. And so it was a really good tool for us to be able to have the different packing lists back and forth to each other. So if you want to share a notebook, all you do is right click on it and share notebook. So we share notebooks in our household a lot for trips that we're planning together, yada, yada, yada. So my husband can edit it, add notes, and they sync with this notebook so I can see the notes he's added as well. So just as a thought for you, that you can do, something totally whatever you want to do. But those are just some beginning things that you have. So I did talk about emailing, forwarding an email to Evernote. And you'll see on this one, I had those emails from the people with the reservations. You'll see where it says forwarded. That's up to you. And we have another webinar just how to find the email that Evernote assigns to you and then how to forward them. So I have a mini video on that on the RETI side. But again, this is just, I don't even want you to worry about that yet. Just start creating notes. So again, I started with just my first listing that I was not my first listing, but I just started with a listing when I got a new one and then started from there and slowly made the transition away from my spiral notebook. So it was in here. Now, one thing that I did not show you'll see here, it says shortcuts. You can have it so like if you have notebooks maybe, and this is a idea for you guys, I don't do it that way because I just search for my notebooks, but a lot of agents that are using Evernote on a big basis, this could work for you maybe, is they create a shortcut. So I'll just do, let's say, I'll do this one, working with buyer notebook. I'll right click on it. And then if you'll notice here, add notebook to shortcuts. So now I don't have to keep searching for it. It's over here. So what quite a few of my agents are telling me that how they organize it, and it's again up to you, is they do their active deals. So their listings and buyers over here into shortcuts. So that way they don't have to, especially if you see how many notebooks I have going on. Now, another thing that I want to talk with you guys about is stacking. And again, we have a video on how to stack. But you'll see this is what I call the mother load. So I'm really working on having like an ongoing, my big project to-do list. And so I'm creating a stack for that. Here is I have another stack for notebooks that are all the same kind of ideas. I have a stack for buyers and you'll see the buyer stack. And these aren't obviously, I haven't got everybody organized. You can organize starting that way, but when I started with Evernote, there was not stacks. So I just haven't taken the time to go back and put them all in stacks and be organized just because the ease of searching for Evernote is just amazing. So that's kind of that. So this is, again, the Evernote Mac app. Look forward to all of the other ones that we have out there to start there. And hopefully that's again, I just did a basics on this one, and this was the Mac app for Evernote. Again, remember, whatever I do here, it's going to sync to my iPad Evernote app, my iPhone Evernote app, so it sits in the cloud as well as being on evernote.com. So don't forget about that, and make sure that you know that. And then I just want to show you one other thing up here. So up here is the account settings. I can add another account, so you can have multiple accounts on here. I don't see an agent necessarily needing to have multiple accounts right off the bat, but you definitely could. No reason not to. I can import notes. I can export notes from BuyerStack to PDFs, so you can have those. So there's a lot that you can do. And here's one thing, new FaceTime camera note. So again, it's my FaceTime, and it's what we just showed you earlier, but you can access it from there if you don't want to put it in something else, okay? So just so you guys know. And up here, one other, oh, I forgot to tell you this because this is such a fabulous tool, is I'm going to go back to the Bahamas scenario because this is one that I could do. So to-do list for, we'll just do this. The return trip rates. We fly our airplane, and so we have to weigh the bags to make sure we're in weights and balances. So if from here, this was our leaving, and then I can just copy this note, okay? So I can copy just that part, or I can copy the whole thing, and to create another note. So that's, so it creates another totally note. And so then I didn't have to recopy. I could just change the couple things I needed to. So that's another tool. Also up here is the little info tool. It tells me when it was created, when it was updated, the location that I created it at, what the size of it is, if I did set an author to it, which I'm obviously the author unless I was sharing notebooks. And then maybe I didn't want this note after all, I could always hit delete. So that's a thing there for you. Again, tags, we talk about in another RETI webinar. So maybe you have tags that you use on a regular basis, and you'll see them being obviously in here. So hopefully that's helped you out a lot. Again, visit RETI, and you'll see I've broken them down into very bite-sized segments of how to use this. So I just gave you an overview, but on the RETI site, I have it for how I use Evernote to work with sellers, how I use it to work with buyers. I talk about scanning documents into Evernote using your phone. Very, very hands-on in there, but bite-sized chunks so it's easily digestible for you. So make sure you sign up today on RETI and take advantage of that. Have a fab one, guys.